Hello students, in our last video we discussed what are the single dimensional arrays are, how we can declare any single dimensional array, what are the meanings of the indexes with single dimensional array, and how we can read and write the values at different locations or on different index numbers of any array. All that we have grasped. Now we are moving towards another scenario that makes you to understand the concept of arrays very easily. Now the problem or the scenario is that will give you a clear idea how we can record the values in any array, how we can reuse or how we can print all that values stored at different locations of an array. So this example will clear all that ambiguities. First, the scenario is there is a class of 20 students and every student has to take the two tests, test 1 and test 2. Now we need to record the marks of test 1 and test 2 of all the 20 students in single dimensional array. So we see how we can make the arrays and how we can record the values and how we can print all that values then after that. So see, we need two arrays in this scenario. First will be dim test 1. Definitely array name is not enough, so we need to give the strength of how many variables this array will have to work. So we have just discussed that there are 20 students in a class. That is why I am giving 20 in the bracket, and now I have to give the type of an array that will be integer definitely, because marks are given in whole numbers. Second array will be test2, so I am writing dim test2, and in the bracket I again give 20 because same student strength is 20 for test2 as well, and the type is integer. So we have declared two different arrays. What happens at the back end, the OS makes a block for test 1 with different floors or with different locations that will start from 1, which we learned last time, 2, 3, 4, and so on. The last box will be with number 20. Same is the case second line. In second line we have declared another array by name test2. So for test2 the same thing happens at the back end by the OS, and it will make a block of test2 and makes the different indexes starting from 1, 2, 3, 4 and up till the last box will be with the number 20. So this is how when we declare two arrays, the OS at the back end will definitely make two different blocks and make different locations in each block starting from 1 to 20. Now we see how we can access each element of both these two arrays so that we can write the marks. So it will not be a good idea to write input. Input would definitely make use of an for loop or any type of loop you can use it in. So right now I am making use of a for loop. I am giving the structure or syntax of the for loop. For, now after the for definitely need to give the variable name for this variable. For example, I am writing count, it's an appropriate name, equal to 1 to 20. So I am making this array that will start from 1 to 20. Now inside the array I give input, and after that I am writing the name of the first array, that is test1, and in the bracket I definitely need to give the index. Now this time I am not giving the direct number of the index of this test1. In place of that I am giving the name of the variable, that is the loops variable count, that will definitely turn by turn keep on giving the index number for this array. For first time when the loop runs, count will get the number 1, so the number 1 will be put here against test1. So what you write that will go into the first location of test1, so on the loop will go for the second time, counts value will become 2, so on. So after writing test1 I am giving the command input test2, and again in the bracket I need to give the index number, so I am writing the loops variable count again. Now I close this loop. That's all for this short example, so that you can understand well. If I make it more complex, that you might not understand the concept, so I'm just writing two tests or two different arrays. Now what happens when this loop runs, count, which is the variable of the loop, will get 1 and come inside the loop 1 will be put in the index of both these two variables. So first, when the program runs, a question mark will be there for this statement. It will ask a number. When you type in the number, for example, first student is getting 60 marks in this test 1, that 60 will be stored into the location 1 of test 1. Why? Because when the loop runs, the count starts from 1. So 1 will be put here. So what the number we are typing, that will go into test 1's first location. On the second line, again there is an input statement. Again, in the basic language, when you run this, a question mark will be there. You type the number and that number will reside into the first location of test 2. For example, this student got 70 marks in test 2. So we are writing 70 in the first location. Why? Because counts value is going on with 1 on first iteration. So when the control goes on to this line, next count, it means the second iteration of the loop will start. Now the counts value has become 2. Now when we write the marks against this statement, that will go into the test 1's second location. For example, second student got 80 marks in test 1. Second, on this statement, the marks will be written in the second location of test 2. So for example, second student got 90 marks in test 2, so 90 will be written in test 2 of 2. And on third iteration, the third students on third iteration counts value become 3. So definitely 3 will go here, 3 will go here. So on test 1, the third student got, for example, 70 marks, and in test 2, the third student got 50 marks. All these are written accordingly. When the loop breaks, it will go on definitely for 1 to 20, mean 20 times, and on every iteration, counts different number will be assigned as an index to these variables, and accordingly the values are written. So when this loop terminates, means when we have written test 1 and test 2 marks of every student out of 20, then this loop breaks. Now what we want to do is we need to print what we have stored in different locations of these two areas in one go. So I'm giving another loop that will again by variable name is count, and we are going to start it again from 1 to 20. There is no matter, we can give so many loops in a program, and we can use the same variable name for the loop, and it will go start with 1 again, because finally when it finish this loop, it will move to the 20. But when we are writing a second loop and we give count equal to 1 to 20, it means count will again get 1, again will start from 1 and to 20. Now this time in this second loop, I am writing print command, print name of the first array, that is test 1, and inside the bracket definitely I need to give the index number of the array. Only writing the name of array is not enough, it will definitely give an error. So I am writing the index for this variable name. Second statement, I write print test 2, and in the name place of index I am writing the loops variable count, bracket close, and next count. Now what happens when this second loop runs, counts value will get 1, and inside the loop there are two statements which are for the display. And test 1 counts value is 1, so 1 will be put here, 1 will be put here. It means data of test 1 array's first index will be there on screen. Data of first location of test 2 will be there on the screen, that is 70. You can say this and this. Second time when loop runs, on second iteration count will get 2. So definitely test 1's second location, that is 80, that will display on screen, and test 2's second location 90 will display on on screen. And then test 1's third location, that is 70, and test 2's third location, that is 50. So this is how these values will display after running the second loop. So today what we have learned is how we can declare arrays, and how we can store the values in array by using a loop structure, and how we can display all that. So just imagine if I am not writing the loop, I am not using the array, then it will be very complex. I have to write the 20 different statements. This all you know better. You already know what is the meaning or syntax or objective of the loop. So this is how we have declared two arrays. And the first loop, we are storing or recording the marks of every student in test 1 and test 2. And in second loop, we are printing or displaying every student's test 1 and test 2 marks order in a right order and right places or in one go. So this is how the values are written and values are displayed from single dimensional arrays. So this is